Здравейте, приятели! Аз съм Vanchella. Вие гледате Zoom, до мен е Fedde Le Grand, който за поредна година ще взриви българската публика. Знаете, обичате го и ние много, и той вас. И сега ще си поговорим с него за изминалата 2018 година в музикален аспект. Hi Fed, how do you feel again here in Bulgaria?
Well, I mean, I think you know by now, but I'm always super happy and honored to be here. You know, I think this is, I don't know, I think I've been coming here for 10 years maybe now or something, and you know I always have a great time. I kind of go out of my way, you know, this set as well. I always like to play a little longer and everything, so no, I'm really looking forward to it.
The Bulgarian audiences love you really much. So last time we have spoke, you told me about your expectation of 2018. So what happened? Everything's go on plan, or maybe some surprises?
No, I mean, like I mean, you can only, you know, make a plan because you want to go somewhere every year, you know, and if it's personal goals or you know, goals that kind of translate for everyone. But I think we've done very well. You know, I did a lot of music, and that's kind of the plan for next year as well. So yeah, to be honest, I don't have much to complain about. You know, everything is just up. You know, everything just seems to go better, and you know, it's not only because of me, but it's because of my whole team.
You had a lot of shows at 2018, including on festivals like Tomorrowland. Can you tell me more about your experience there and what you prefer to play on festivals or in clubs?
I mean, I think it's also a little hard to compare, you know. But because to be honest, I think in a club you have to work way harder than on a festival. You know, I mean, like if 100 people leave from a club, you'll see that. And if 100 people leave from a festival, you know, you wouldn't even notice. So I think in general, like, a club is way more personal, which I do like. But you know, then again, because a festival is so big, it's just very impressive. So and then there's also differences between different festivals. You know, I mean, what we're doing tonight is something that I love because I'm like the crowd here is so knowledgeable. So I'm almost allowed to play anything I like, which is great. When you have a Tomorrowland, which is absolutely beautiful festival, but I think music-wise, you know, because you have so many people from different places, like you have a little less space to move in. So you know, like from how everything looks and like how the energy is, you know, Tomorrowland is great. But if you ask me personally, I like a gig like this way better because I have, like, I can play some old tracks, I can play some new tracks, you know, and people just know everything, and it's a very personal thing for me.
That's nice. Let's speak about your latest releases. You also make a remix for Chainsmokers. Can you tell me the story behind your latest music?
Well, you know, I mean, like every track kind of has his own story. I mean, in the case of the Chainsmokers remix, they actually sent me their new track. They were like, hey, you know, Fedde, what's up? Blah blah blah. This is our new track. I hope you like it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. You know, if you ever need a remix, let me know. And then, like, his next reply was, okay, yeah, here are the parts. You know, let me know when you finish the remix. So it was just, you know, very easy. And then, you know, yes, and sometimes it's very boring. It's just someone's management contact my management and so on and so on. So you never really speak to the artists themselves. But so it's like everything is different. And also when you make a track, you know, sometimes you wake up with a certain melody in your head, or sometimes you hear something that, like an old record, that you're like, oh, okay, that's actually a great idea. I have to do something like that. So there's so many things that can trigger something in your mind to do something. So yeah.
Bump and Shake. A really nice video with the shaking dogs on a slow motion. Was that your idea?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we were, you know, we're always looking for artwork as well, of course. So, and no, you know, we started searching for, you know, just you usually start the name of the track. So in this case, Bump and Shake. But we got all images that were very obvious. So I started to look a little bit more, and then I saw this photographer actually that does all these dogs and I think cats as well, where they get wet and they kind of shake their thing. So and I thought it was a way, at least a different angle than just, I don't know, a video clip with or something, you know. I mean, that would have been very obvious. So I kind of like I kind of like that it has a bit more of an artsy take on it.
So you participate creatively in your videos as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to have the final say because it's not my it's not my main thing. But I usually, which is a little hard sometimes for other people, but I usually have a very strong idea of what I want and don't want. So usually I just try to give someone a direction and because every video maker like has a very creative mind of his or her own. So I don't want to mingle in too much, but usually I'm like, yeah, but if you could do it like this or a bit like this or like so. Yes, maybe like I don't know, depending on which video, but I always mingle in for like 30 to 50%.
Okay, you have from a long time on a dance scene. How it has changed through the years? Is it getting better or maybe worse? What are the maybe evolve in a way? What is your opinion?
I mean, like, I think that's with a lot of things. But with music, you can really see that it kind of goes like this, and yeah, but also music gets like harder, and then after a while it gets softer, and like faster, slower, because after a certain amount of time hearing the same thing, it just gets you bored. So people are looking for new, but usually, people rediscover old music. So they're kind of doing like a 2 or 3 or 4.0 version of something that's already been done, which is fine. So I think at the same time that's what keeps the whole scene healthy. I mean, there are times I think, especially let's say like 3 or 4 years back. It was especially America got involved for the first time seriously, and that kind of had some influence on the scene. But I think especially here in Europe, it's always been very very stable, and so I think here it did change a little bit, but not too much. And I think right now especially in Asia, there's a lot of development and also local development, which I think is very cool. Because I think that's maybe the thing that changed most is that the world got smaller. Before it was like most producers or DJs came from France, Sweden, Holland, England, maybe America a little bit, but now it just doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter where you come from, because if you can just send your music to everyone and everyone can find your music, which I think is a great thing.
I noticed that a lot of artists make a collaboration with a rap artist, dance music and rap music. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I'm not necessarily against it, but for me it's just really simple. Like, a good song is a good song. So I mean, it's not to give an easy answer, but it's and a shit song is a shit song. So I'm sorry, but if to be really honest, if you have a really good song, it doesn't really matter in what kind of genre you put it. It should be able to work as a ballad, as a dance track, as a whatever. So I think it's more about that, if a song is good, yes or no. And I mean I do think you see now here and there that people kind of use famous rappers to to get their song across the radio or whatever, but that doesn't always necessarily mean, because someone's famous doesn't always necessarily mean that the song is good. So.
This is the rhythm of the night. Oh yeah.
I'm really curious. Do you working on a current project right now?
Yeah, I mean several actually.
Tell me more about it.
I'll play some tonight, but I just finished my new track, which actually will be out on Spinning, because every now and then I do something on Spinning, which is a solo track. Then I really have to think actually. Then I have another track called Dancing Shoes, which is a solo track which I'm really happy with. I'm actually working on something with another Dutch DJ, which is almost finished. And let me think. Then I have another solo record with actually a Jamaican singer. It's not totally finished, but it's almost done. So yeah, I think those are the projects that are done or almost done. Yeah.
When we can expect them?
I think January is the one on spinning. I usually try to release something every 2 months, you know, because then every record has enough time to grow, and it doesn't take too long for the next record. So I think as of January, you can expect something every other 2 months.
But how you manage to do some tracks, to produce some music, and travel so much, to be a DJ on a different clubs? Is it? For me, it's look really really hard.
No, I mean, like the good thing is like if you play, it usually inspires you. You know, maybe you hear a track or you have one track in your set, you think, oh man, this track is so amazing. I need like more tracks like this, and that usually gets you going and gets you started. Or sometimes you miss something in your set, like okay, I wish I had like a few tracks that you know that have more of this vibe or this vibe or this vibe. And you know sometimes you just get sent vocals without music, and then that's your inspiration point. So I think the first thing is that you get inspiration from everywhere, because that's what you need to make music in general. And then for me, I never tour longer than 3 weeks, and then I make sure I always have at least 1 week in the studio, and I do my mixing, so the last stage and the first stage. That's the two things I have to be in my studio, and the rest you can pretty much do on your laptop.
Can you tell me more about your creative process?
I mean, the thing is, it really depends. I mean, like if you get a vocal from someone, it usually helps, because you know in what key you have to work, and so you already have some guidance from that point. But it really depends. I mean, sometimes I do a track in a day. You know, you just have the idea and you find everything you need, and you know exactly where to go, and it just goes very fast. And then sometimes it takes me a month. You know, and sometimes I just never finish it because I just can't get it where it is in my head. I think that's the hardest thing is you know, it's the same when you're good at drawing or something. You have a picture in your head, and the trick is to get it out of your head on paper. And this kind of works the same. I mean, the music you hear in your head, you have to get it out in your computer. You know, and I think I think that's the most important.
What do you wish for yourself in 2019?
If it could be the same as last year, especially musically, I would already be super happy. I mean, there's some really interesting things pending, and I would love to work some more with other people. I've just been in LA for a writing session, and I actually really like that. So I would love to work especially on vocals, because I'm not native English speaking, so it's better to work with someone like that's English or American. Yeah, and just write more, but also on the vocal side, and do maybe some. Because I haven't done that for a while, you know, a few more poppy things.
You came here often. Do you plan to buy maybe a estate here in Sofia?
It would not be a crazy idea, actually. I mean, like, but to be honest, the hard thing is if you're always traveling, because I've been saying to the guys here, because especially when I come here, like he always goes skiing in January. He's just like, you have to come, it's so amazing, you have to see it. But I've still never been skiing here. So.
Do you have a time for hobbies? Like, what do you like to do beside music?
Not that much. Well, I kind of like to cook. But I don't have too much time, and I do martial arts. So those two things. I mean, I like gaming as well, but that's usually the last one on my list. So I think I started my PlayStation maybe once this year. So I just can't find the time. But I do. I mean, like martial arts, I do. If I'm home like 3 times a week, which is good, and cooking whenever I can, and I can find time. Yeah.
That's good life.
Yo, what's up everyone? This is Fedde Le Grand, and you're watching The Voice.